In a world that never stops talking, true power belongs to those who master silence. Every morning before the noise of the world floods your mind, there's a sacred moment, a space where clarity, discipline, and focus are born. Most people waste it scrolling, comparing, or chasing validation that means nothing. But the few who choose to rise early, to listen to their own thoughts, to work quietly when the world sleeps, those are the ones who win, because success doesn't shout. It whispers in the stillness of early mornings when you focus on yourself. You begin to realize how much energy you've been giving away to distractions, to people who don't understand your vision, to battles that don't deserve your strength. The early hours are your sanctuary, your time to build, to think, to grow without interruption. Every sunrise gives you a chance to reset, to silence the outside world and reconnect with who you really are. While others chase attention, you chase purpose. While they talk, you act, because greatness isn't built in noise. It's crafted in the quiet moments of relentless focus and unwavering self-belief. Silence is not emptiness. It is the birthplace of strength, the space where clarity begins to take form in a world that glorifies constant noise, endless talking, scrolling, posting, and reacting. Silence has become a rare discipline. People fear it because silence exposes truth. When the noise fades, you can no longer hide behind excuses, distractions, or the opinions of others. In silence, you meet yourself, you confront your weaknesses, your fears, your doubts, and in that confrontation lies the potential for transformation. The mind begins to settle, and what once felt like chaos starts to organize itself. You begin to hear your own thoughts clearly. The voice of intuition that's been drowned out by the noise of the world starts to whisper again, guiding you toward what truly matters. When you embrace silence, you separate yourself from the crowd. You stop reacting to every distraction and start acting with intention. You no longer need the approval or validation of others to feel seen or valued. Silence gives you power because it teaches control, the control of your emotions, your words, and your energy. In a silent mind, there's no wasted movement. Every action is deliberate, every thought is sharp, every decision is rooted in awareness. This is where true focus is born. Not from external motivation, but from internal mastery. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators have all understood this truth. They've known that silence is not about doing nothing. It's about preparing for everything. In silence, ideas mature. Strength builds quietly beneath the surface. The seeds of confidence are planted not in loud declarations, but in quiet hours of reflection and discipline. The person who can sit in silence without fear is the person who cannot be shaken by chaos. They are grounded, centered, and fully present. Their mind doesn't run toward noise for comfort because they have found peace within themselves. Every morning, before the world wakes up, there is a golden hour where silence reigns. That is the hour when discipline is tested, when your future is shaped by the choices you make. You can choose to wake up and face yourself, to sit in stillness, to plan, to visualize, to breathe, or you can choose to drown yourself in distractions, notifications, and noise. One choice leads to mastery, the other to mediocrity. The world belongs to those who use silence as their weapon, who let their actions speak for them, who don't need to announce every move, but let the results do the talking. Silence strengthens your connection to your purpose. It allows you to see beyond the surface of life and focus on what truly matters. When you are quiet, you start to notice the patterns in your thoughts, the emotions that control you, and the habits that shape your destiny. You begin to take ownership of your inner world. You realize that external noise can only control you if you let it inside. When your inner state is peaceful, no chaos outside can disturb it. That's real power. The power of composure, of restraint, of presence. The power to respond instead of react, to create instead of compete, to lead instead of follow. Silence also reveals the value of words. When you practice stillness, you learn that words are energy, and energy is not meant to be wasted. You begin to speak less but say more. You start to move with intention instead of impulse. People who live in noise are always searching for validation. People who live in silence are already secure in their work. They understand that growth doesn't require an audience. The greatest progress often happens in private, when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one even knows what you're doing. There's an unspoken strength in the person who doesn't need to explain themselves. They work in silence, build in silence, and succeed in silence. They understand that the quiet path is often the most powerful because it removes the distractions of ego. When you no longer chase attention, you can focus completely on your craft, your discipline, your evolution. The noise of the world becomes background static. It's there, but it no longer defines your rhythm. You start to find beauty and simplicity, power and patience and courage and calm. In silence, you gain awareness of time. You begin to realize how much of it you've been wasting on things that don't move you forward. You see how easy it is to get lost in other people's opinions, to drown in meaningless noise that adds nothing to your purpose. But when you turn inward, when you embrace the stillness, you reclaim that time and channel it into growth. You start to live deliberately, not reactively. The early hours become your secret weapon, a time when silence becomes your ally, when you can think clearly, set your goals, and build momentum without interference. Those who master silence are never in a hurry. They move with quiet confidence, knowing that everything great takes time. They're not distracted by temporary noise because they're focused on permanent growth. Their silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the understanding that not every thought needs to be shared, not every battle needs to be fought, and not every opinion deserves a response. The more silent you become, the more you hear the voice of your intuition, the rhythm of your heart, the path that was meant for you all along. Silence teaches patience. And patience builds endurance. Endurance builds mastery. Mastery builds greatness. It all begins with that one moment of quiet, that single decision to turn down the volume of the world and tune into yourself. Early mornings are sacred because they represent a new beginning, a quiet rebirth that happens every single day before the world awakens. In those first few moments of dawn, everything feels untouched, pure, and full of potential. The air is still, the noise has yet to begin, and you have the rare gift of being alone with your thoughts. It is in this silence that focus sharpens, clarity deepens, and self-discipline takes root. When you rise before the sun, you rise before distraction. You take control of your time, your energy, and your direction. The early morning is not just a time, it's a mindset, a declaration that you are ready to lead your life instead of being led by the chaos of the world. Most people miss this magic. They sleep through their power hours, unaware that every sunrise is an invitation to change their story. They wake up to noise, to urgency, to obligations, and in doing so, they lose connection with themselves. But those who wake early understand that the morning is sacred because it's the one part of the day truly under their control. There are no messages demanding attention, no distractions pulling focus, no external voices telling them who to be. It's just them and their vision. That's where real transformation begins, not in grand gestures, but in quiet, consistent acts of discipline before the world interferes. When you make the choice to wake up early, you are training your mind to prioritize purpose over comfort. Comfort says stay in bed, you deserve rest. Discipline says get up, you deserve success. Each time you rise before the sun, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than excuses, that your dreams are worth more than temporary rest. It's not about denying yourself sleep, it's about valuing your time. Every great achiever, artist, athlete, or leader has understood the sacred rhythm of early mornings. It's when the world is still asleep that the seeds of greatness are sown. In the quiet of dawn, your thoughts are unclouded. You can hear your inner voice clearly. You can plan without pressure, reflect without interruption, and move without resistance. There's something powerful about being ahead of the world, about knowing that while others are still lost in dreams, you are already working on turning yours into reality. It creates momentum, a sense of progress that carries through the rest of the day. It builds confidence because you've already done more by sunrise than most will do by noon. That quiet advantage compounds. It becomes your edge, your rhythm, your personal source of power. Early mornings give you space to connect deeply with your goals, with your thoughts, with yourself. They allow you to be intentional instead of reactive. Instead of waking up and rushing into the demands of others, you begin your day on your terms. You get to decide how to think, how to feel, how to act. This control is transformative. It replaces chaos with clarity, anxiety with direction, and distraction with determination. You begin to move through life with purpose rather than pressure. The sacredness of early mornings also lies in their stillness. The world around you is quiet, the distractions are asleep, and in that stillness, creativity flows freely. Ideas come easier because your mind isn't clouded by noise or comparison. You can think deeply, plan effectively, and visualize vividly. The early hours become a laboratory for growth, a sacred space for reflection and creation. This is where great ideas are born, where breakthroughs happen, where resilience is built. It's where you align your mind with your mission before the outside world has a chance to pull you away from it. Waking early also strengthens discipline, the foundation of success. It's not easy to leave the comfort of your bed while it's still dark outside, but that's the point. Discipline is not meant to be easy, it's meant to make you stronger. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you build mental toughness. That toughness carries into every part of your life. You start showing up earlier, working harder, staying focused longer. You begin to rely on your habits instead of your moods. You stop waiting for motivation because consistency becomes your identity. The morning becomes your training ground for success. You learn to move deliberately, to think clearly, to act intentionally, whether you spend those hours exercising, journaling, reading, meditating, or working on your goals. What matters is the ritual, the daily act of choosing growth before the world wakes up. That ritual reinforces who you are and who you're becoming. It teaches you patience, focus, and self-respect. It's a silent commitment to yourself that says, I am in control of my time, my energy, and my destiny. There's a peace in the early morning that can't be found anywhere else. It's not just the silence, but the sense of alignment that comes with it. When you move with the rhythm of the sunrise, you connect with something greater than yourself. You realize that life has seasons, and each morning is a chance to begin again, to improve, to grow, to rise a little higher than yesterday. You learn to appreciate the beauty in discipline, the serenity in solitude, and the power in stillness. Early mornings are sacred because they remind you that time is your most precious gift. Every dawn you waste is a piece of your potential slipping away, but every dawn you seize becomes a foundation for greatness. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present, about showing up for yourself when it matters most. The sacredness of early mornings lies in their ability to reshape your mind, strengthen your will, and align your life with your highest purpose. Focusing on personal growth means shifting your attention away from comparison, noise, and approval and turning it inward to your own journey, your own progress, your own purpose. It's about understanding that everything meaningful in life begins with you, the way you think, the way you act, the way you respond. All of it determines the quality of your life. When you stop looking outward for validation and start working inward for transformation, that's when change becomes real. Most people spend their energy trying to impress others, trying to fit in, trying to be seen. But true growth doesn't happen when you're performing for the world. It happens when you are alone, working quietly, improving without applause, building without being noticed. When you focus on yourself, you begin to see how much power you've been giving away. You start to recognize that your time, your energy, and your attention are your most valuable resources. Every moment you spend worrying about what others think is a moment taken away from what you could be building. Growth requires isolation at times because evolution doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens in solitude and struggle and silence. You begin to understand that comparison is the enemy of progress. The only person you need to be better than is the one you were yesterday. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Every effort to learn, to discipline yourself, to understand your weaknesses and strengthen them is part of your evolution. Personal growth isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. It's noticing your patterns, your habits, your triggers, and choosing to rise above them. It's realizing that success isn't an event. It's a process, a daily commitment to improvement. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that grows slowly, consistently, with patience and persistence. You stop chasing instant results and start valuing long-term progress. You stop seeking praise and start seeking mastery. This mindset shift changes everything. It makes you resilient, grounded, and self-reliant. You no longer crumble when things go wrong because you understand that challenges are part of the process. You no longer fear failure because you see it as feedback. You no longer depend on others to push you because your drive comes from within. When you make growth your focus, life begins to align differently. You start waking up with purpose, not pressure. You no longer compete with others. You collaborate, you learn, you observe. You no longer envy other people's success because you know your time will come. You trust the process and understand that your journey is unique. There's peace in knowing that you don't need to rush your evolution. Growth happens at your own pace, in your own way, as long as you stay consistent. Every book you read, every discipline you build, every failure you learn from, all of it compounds quietly. That's the beauty of focusing on yourself. You realize that every day offers a new opportunity to level up, to refine who you are, to build a stronger version of yourself. When you focus on personal growth, your perspective shifts. You stop reacting to the world and start creating your own. You stop complaining and start taking responsibility. You stop blaming and start building. Growth demands accountability. It requires you to look honestly at your life and ask difficult questions. Am I growing or staying the same? Am I investing my time wisely? Am I living with purpose or drifting through distraction? These questions may be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. They force you to confront the truth, and the truth is what sets you free from stagnation. You also begin to attract different energy when you focus on growth. The right people begin to find you, the ones who match your mindset, your values, your discipline. You stop chasing validation because you no longer need it. Your worth becomes internal, not external. You begin to carry yourself with quiet confidence because you know the work you've put in, even if no one else sees it. Growth changes the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you see the world. It makes you humble because you realize how much you still have to learn. It makes you grateful because you see how far you've come. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You can't pour into others if you're empty. You can't lead if you haven't led yourself. You can't build something meaningful if your foundation is weak. Personal growth is how you strengthen that foundation. It's the invisible work that supports every visible success. It's the early mornings, the quiet nights, the uncomfortable reflections, and the hard choices. It's saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your destiny. It's choosing discipline over comfort, consistency over excitement, and patience over pressure. Growth also teaches emotional maturity. You stop reacting out of ego and start responding with understanding. You stop seeking to prove others wrong and start seeking to prove yourself right. You learn to let go of what doesn't serve you, old habits, negative people, limiting beliefs, and replace them with things that elevate you. You start to value peace over drama, progress over perfection, and fulfillment over recognition. You stop chasing a life that looks good and start building a life that feels good. As you continue to focus inward, you notice that the world outside starts to shift as well. Opportunities appear where they didn't before. People treat you differently because you carry yourself differently. Success starts to follow you because you've aligned your thoughts, habits, and energy with it. You begin to understand that life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And that change begins the moment you stop seeking approval from the world and start seeking alignment with yourself. Focusing on personal growth gives you something external validation never can: peace of mind. You realize that true success isn't about being seen, it's about being centered. It's about knowing who you are, what you want, and why you're doing it. Growth is quiet, but its results are loud. It's invisible at first, but eventually it becomes undeniable. When you focus on yourself, you start living life on purpose instead of by default. Discipline in solitude is one of the rarest and most powerful traits a person can develop because it's the point where growth meets character. It's easy to stay motivated when people are watching, when there's recognition or applause, but true strength is forged in the moments when no one is there to witness your effort. Discipline in solitude is the quiet work that separates dreamers from doers, talkers from achievers. It's waking up early when you could sleep longer, staying focused when your mind craves distraction, showing up every single day for your goals, even when progress feels invisible. The greatest victories are born in these unseen moments, where consistency replaces excitement and commitment replaces comfort. Solitude has a way of testing you. It removes external noise and forces you to face yourself, to confront your weaknesses, to build resilience, to learn what you're truly capable of. When you choose solitude instead of seeking constant stimulation, you take control of your energy. You stop scattering your focus across meaningless conversations, and you begin to channel it into your purpose. The world glorifies busy people, but discipline in solitude teaches you that silence and stillness are not signs of inactivity. They are signs of alignment. They are the foundation of mastery. Every great athlete, artist, or leader spends countless hours alone, refining their craft, not because it's glamorous, but because that's where greatness is built. When you embrace solitude with discipline, you begin to understand the value of time. You stop treating it as something to fill and start treating it as something to protect. You realize that every minute spent in distraction is a minute stolen from your destiny. Discipline teaches you that success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently, even when it's not exciting. It's about creating habits so strong that they carry you through days when motivation fades. Discipline doesn't ask if you feel like it, it demands that you do it anyway. And in solitude, that demand echoes louder because there's no one else to push you. You become your own source of accountability. The quiet hours alone are where you build the version of yourself that the world will eventually see. You practice, you plan, you prepare, you make mistakes and learn without fear of judgment. You discover that growth isn't always loud or dramatic. It's often steady, repetitive, and unseen. It's in those hours when you could quit but don't, when you could rest but choose to push, that your foundation strengthens. You begin to develop self-trust, the unshakable belief that you will do what you say you'll do, even when no one's watching. That kind of integrity becomes your armor in a world built on shortcuts and appearances. Solitude also strips away distractions and reveals your true priorities. Without noise, you can't hide from yourself. You begin to see which habits are holding you back, which thoughts are limiting you, which goals are real and which are borrowed. You start to realize that many of the things you once chased were never yours to begin with. They were illusions created by comparison. Discipline in solitude gives you the clarity to redefine success on your own terms. It helps you separate what's essential from what's irrelevant, allowing you to pour your time and focus into what truly matters. It's in solitude that the mind becomes sharper. When you remove constant external input, your thoughts deepen, your creativity expands, and your perspective widens. You begin to think strategically. Instead of reactively, you start to understand patterns in your behavior and take responsibility for them. This awareness becomes your compass. Discipline gives you the consistency to act on that awareness day after day until progress becomes your new normal. You no longer rely on fleeting motivation because your habits carry you forward even when inspiration fades. Discipline in solitude is also where emotional strength is built. When you're alone, you face discomfort, boredom, doubt, insecurity, and learn to move through it instead of escaping it. You discover that solitude isn't loneliness, it's power. It's the space where you heal, reset, and refocus. Most people run from solitude because it's uncomfortable, but the few who stay long enough to embrace it find freedom. They stop being controlled by external noise and start living with internal control. They no longer need to prove themselves to anyone because they're too busy proving themselves to themselves. There's a kind of peace that comes with disciplined solitude. It's the peace of knowing you're moving in alignment with your goals, the peace of knowing your energy isn't wasted on things that don't matter. You begin to feel stronger, more grounded, more self-assured. You stop needing motivation from others because you've learned to create it within yourself. You stop chasing distractions because your purpose gives you direction. That's the quiet confidence that discipline builds, the kind that doesn't need to be spoken or displayed, but is felt in every action, every word, every decision. Discipline in solitude also creates momentum. Each day you commit to your goals, even in small ways, builds a compounding effect. What starts as effort becomes habit. What begins as struggle becomes strength. Over time, this consistency transforms you into someone who can't be easily shaken by setbacks. Challenges no longer intimidate you because you've already faced your hardest opponent, your own mind. You understand that progress is not always visible, but always happening. You trust the process because you've seen how far consistency can carry you. The world often misunderstands solitude, labeling it as isolation or detachment, but in truth, it's preparation. It's the training ground for greatness. It's where discipline sharpens your focus, and your focus shapes your destiny. The hours you spend alone are never wasted when they are spent with purpose. They become the silent investment that pays off when opportunities appear, when challenges arise, when your preparation meets the moment you've been waiting for. Discipline in solitude doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger, sharper, and more resilient. It teaches you to stay grounded when things get noisy, to stay focused when distractions multiply, and to keep moving forward when no one else believes in you. Energy is one of the most valuable currencies a person has, yet most people spend it carelessly on distractions, negativity, and meaningless battles that drain them instead of build them. Every thought you dwell on, every conversation you entertain, every argument you engage in requires energy. When you waste it on things that don't serve your purpose, you weaken your focus and dilute your potential. Protecting your energy means being intentional with where you place your attention. It means understanding that not everything deserves a reaction, not everyone deserves your time, and not every situation deserves your peace. Your energy is finite. Once spent, it doesn't return the same way. If you give it to the wrong people, to unproductive habits, or to negativity, you are robbing your future self of strength, clarity, and growth. The more you learn to control your energy, the more powerful you become. When you stop chasing validation or arguing with people who will never understand your vision, you create space for what actually matters. Your mind becomes lighter, your actions become sharper, and your goals become clearer. The truth is, not every battle is worth fighting. Some are designed to distract you, to pull you off your path, to drain your strength so you can't focus on the real mission. The strongest people are not those who fight every fight. They are the ones who walk away from noise with calm certainty, knowing that their peace is too valuable to waste. Energy flows where attention goes, and attention is the architect of your destiny. If you constantly feed negativity through gossip, complaints, or comparison, you are building a life rooted in chaos. But when you feed focus through discipline, gratitude, and effort, you are building a life rooted in strength. Your thoughts are the fuel that drive your actions. Every negative thought is like a leak in your energy tank, slowly draining what you need to move forward. Every positive, intentional thought is like adding power to your engine, propelling you toward your vision. Protecting your energy means guarding your mind first. Being mindful of what you consume, who you listen to, and what environments you allow yourself to stay in. People who drain your energy don't always do it with bad intentions. Sometimes they come disguised as friends, colleagues, or even family members who project their fears onto you. They tell you your dreams are unrealistic, your goals too high, your efforts unnecessary. If you allow those words to sink in, they plant seeds of doubt that begin to drain your spirit. Protecting your energy means recognizing when someone's words are rooted in their own limitations, not your truth. You don't need to argue with them, you just need to rise above them. Silence becomes your shield, focus becomes your response, and growth becomes your proof. When you understand the value of your energy, you begin to move differently. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop seeking approval from those who wouldn't understand your purpose, even if you explained it. You stop wasting time on things that won't matter a year from now. You become selective, intentional, and calm. You start to measure success not by how busy you are, but by how peaceful you feel. Protecting your energy becomes a form of self-respect. You realize that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that giving yourself time to recharge isn't selfish, it's necessary. The moment you stop reacting to everything, you regain control of your life. Most people are exhausted not because of hard work, but because of emotional chaos. They are constantly reacting to other people's opinions, to temporary emotions, to problems that don't belong to them. They spend their days fighting invisible battles in their minds, and by the time they try to work on their goals, their energy is gone. The key is to respond, not react. Respond with clarity, with purpose, with patience. Not every situation deserves an emotional investment. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words, and walking away is stronger than staying to prove a point. Energy management is not just about saying no to others. It's about saying yes to yourself. Yes to discipline. Yes to rest. Yes to focus. Yes to peace. When you protect your energy, you create an environment where growth can thrive. You start making decisions that align with your long-term vision instead of short-term motion. You stop overcommitting, stop over-explaining, and stop overthinking. You learn that stillness can be productive, that saying less can mean doing more, and that peace is the highest form of power every time you choose peace. Over drama, focus over distraction, discipline over comfort, you reclaim your energy. As you become more protective of your energy, you start noticing how different life feels. You feel lighter because you've stopped carrying burdens that aren't yours. You feel stronger because your actions are aligned with your purpose. You feel more confident because your mind is no longer cluttered with unnecessary noise. The world around you may not change immediately, but your inner world begins to. That's where real transformation starts. From within, once your internal energy is balanced, the external world starts reflecting that balance back to you. Protecting your energy doesn't mean isolating yourself from everyone. It means surrounding yourself with people, environments, and habits that feed your growth. It means choosing conversations that uplift rather than drain, choosing habits that strengthen rather than weaken, and choosing thoughts that empower rather than limit. It's about creating boundaries, not walls, to protect your focus and peace. Boundaries are not rejection, they're self-preservation. They remind you that not everything or everyone deserves access to your energy. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of energy and you decide how it's spent. You can waste it trying to fix people, please everyone, or fight pointless battles, or you can use it to build, to create, to evolve. The choice is yours. The quality of your life depends on where your energy flows. When you direct it toward purpose, discipline, and peace, life starts to align in ways it never has before. When you give it to chaos, you find yourself stuck in the same cycles. Energy is everything. How you manage it determines how far you go. Success has never needed to shout. It doesn't announce itself through noise, validation, or attention. It grows quietly, patiently, in the background where no one is watching. The people who achieve true greatness rarely broadcast their every move. They don't chase recognition, they chase results. They understand that noise doesn't build legacies. Discipline does. Success grows in silence because silence allows space for focus, reflection, and precision. When the world is loud with distractions, the one who can stay quiet, consistent, and intentional becomes unstoppable. The real work is often unseen, the long nights, the early mornings, the endless repetitions that no one claps for. That's where the seeds of success are planted. In the quiet commitment to improvement day after day, when you learn to work in silence, you detach from the need for approval. You stop needing people to notice your progress because you're not doing it for attention, you're doing it for transformation. You start realizing that real power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being prepared. The louder the world becomes, the more valuable your silence becomes. It gives you an edge, a sense of control in a culture obsessed with instant gratification. The quiet achiever isn't distracted by applause or opinions. They don't announce their goals because they understand that talking drains the energy needed for doing. Every ounce of focus goes into execution, not explanation. The reason success grows in silence is because silence eliminates pressure. When you share every dream publicly, you create expectations that can distract you from the process. But when you move quietly, you're free to fail, to experiment, to learn without judgment. You're not performing for anyone, you're building for yourself. The quiet phase is where mastery begins. It's where you make mistakes, refine your craft, and develop resilience. The people who stay silent during this stage are the ones who eventually speak the loudest through their results. Their success becomes their voice. Their growth becomes their statement. Their consistency becomes their proof. Silence is also protection. When you're building something valuable, not everyone around you will understand it. Some will doubt you, some will envy you, and some will try to distract you. By staying silent, you guard your vision from unnecessary interference. You keep your dreams pure, untouched by the noise of other people's fears and opinions. Silence allows you to nurture your ideas privately until they're strong enough to face the world. Just like a seed grows beneath the soil before breaking the surface, success develops in hidden spaces before it ever becomes visible. The quiet worker is not idle, they're strategic. While others are talking about what they'll do, the silent one is already doing it. While others seek attention for effort, they seek progress through consistency. Their silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the understanding that energy wasted on validation could be used for creation. Every great success story begins with someone who decided to let their work speak louder than their words. They didn't seek the spotlight. They built something so bright it couldn't be ignored. In silence, you gain perspective. You start to see that the path to success isn't about speed, it's about direction. You learn that distractions are the enemy of progress. The world rewards noise temporarily, but it rewards mastery permanently. Those who chase attention often burn out quickly because their energy goes toward being noticed instead of being excellent. Those who build quietly endure because their foundation is rooted in purpose, not popularity. They don't measure progress by likes or comments, but by how much they've improved compared to yesterday. Silence also builds patience, and patience builds greatness. Every overnight success you see is built on years of unseen effort. The quiet grind, the repetition, the self-doubt, all of it adds layers to the strength that success requires. Most people quit before they see results because they mistake silence for stagnation. They can't handle the slow, invisible climb. But those who understand that success is a long game, who continue working even when no one is watching, eventually rise. They are not motivated by attention. They are fueled by purpose. There's a unique power in doing things without announcing them. It creates momentum. Each silent victory builds confidence. Each private accomplishment adds fuel to your inner fire. You start realizing that you don't need to tell people what you're doing because your results will tell them for you. The world respects results more than promises. And when you've trained yourself to find satisfaction in progress rather than recognition, you become immune to distraction. You no longer chase applause, you create impact. Success also grows in silence because silence allows introspection. You get to assess what's working and what's not without outside influence. You can adjust your direction, refine your methods, and evolve without resistance. When you're quiet, you listen more to your intuition, to your instincts, to your purpose. You stop being pulled by trends and start being guided by vision. That's what separates the successful from the average. The average person reacts to the world. The successful person creates their own. There's also humility in silence. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you that greatness is not about noise, it's about substance. The quiet ones are often the most dangerous, not because they speak loudly, but because they act deliberately. They don't seek validation because they already know their worth. They don't boast about what's coming because they're too focused on making it real. The quiet journey may look slow, but it's steady. And that steadiness is what creates unstoppable success. The world we live in celebrates exposure, but real progress happens in isolation. Behind every achievement is someone who chose silence over attention, consistency over chaos, and discipline over display. When you learn to work quietly, to protect your focus and energy, you begin to move differently. You stop chasing quick wins and start building lasting ones. You begin to understand that silence isn't absence, it's presence. It's the sound of effort, of growth, of transformation happening beneath the surface. Success that grows in silence has depth because it's built on discipline, not noise. It doesn't need to announce itself because when it arrives, it speaks volumes on its own. It doesn't rush because it knows that true greatness doesn't need validation. It only needs time, effort, and unwavering focus. ChatGPT said, true power does not come from how loudly you speak, how much attention you command, or how many people recognize your name. It comes from within. It comes from the quiet confidence that grows when you show up every day, even when no one notices. Consistency and self-belief are the roots of real strength. When you believe in yourself deeply enough, you stop needing others to confirm your worth. You move with conviction, not because the world approves of your path, but because you trust your own steps. That's where true power begins. The moment you realize that your energy is better spent building yourself than explaining yourself. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not about grand gestures or overnight transformation. It's the act of choosing discipline when motivation fades, of waking up early when you don't feel like it, of showing up when progress seems invisible. Most people crave results, but few are willing to repeat the process every single day. Consistency is where dreams turn into reality. Not through intensity, but through endurance. Every small action, repeated with purpose, compounds over time. Success is not built in one big moment of inspiration. It's built in countless small moments of persistence. The ones who achieve greatness are not the most talented. They're the most consistent. When you commit to consistency, you develop momentum. At first, it feels hard, slow, maybe even pointless. But with each repetition, each effort, something powerful begins to shift inside you. You start to realize that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. You begin to see how your discipline shapes your destiny. Consistency builds character. It strengthens your mind, sharpens your habits, and hardens your will. Every morning you wake up and push forward. You're not just chasing a goal, you're building resilience. You're proving to yourself that you can rely on your own commitment. That belief becomes your greatest weapon in a world full of uncertainty. Self-belief fuels this process. Without belief, consistency collapses. You can't stay committed to a journey you don't think you're capable of completing. Self-belief is not arrogance. It's the quiet understanding that you can figure things out, that even if you fail, you'll rise again. It's the inner voice that whispers, keep going when everything around you tells you to stop. Many people wait to believe in themselves until they see proof, but belief comes first. You don't believe because you succeed. You succeed because you believe. You keep moving even when the path is unclear because you trust that your effort will eventually lead you where you need to be. There will always be obstacles. There will be days when progress feels invisible, when your mind tells you it's not worth it, when others doubt you. But that's where consistency becomes your anchor. You show up anyway. You stay focused anyway. You remind yourself that every great story was built on persistence through struggle. Every successful person once stood where you are, questioning, doubting, tired, uncertain, but they kept going. Not because it was easy, but because they understood that quitting would guarantee failure, while persistence kept the door open for possibility. The combination of consistency and self-belief creates unstoppable force. Together, they make you immune to temporary setbacks. When you believe in yourself, failure becomes feedback, not defeat. When you stay consistent, every mistake becomes a lesson, not a reason to quit. You stop chasing perfection and start valuing progress. You begin to realize that mastery isn't about doing everything right. It's about doing something long enough to get it right. The more consistent you are, the more confident you become, the more confident you become, the more consistent you remain. It's a cycle of growth that feeds itself. Self-belief also shields you from the noise of the world. When you truly believe in your purpose, other people's opinions lose their power over you. You stop comparing your journey to others because you understand that success isn't a race. It's a personal evolution. The opinions, judgments, or doubts of others no longer determine your direction. You know your worth, and that allows you to move forward with peace and focus. Confidence isn't about being loud, it's about being grounded. It's walking into every situation knowing you belong there, even if no one tells you so. True strength is quiet. It's the kind that doesn't need to prove itself. You don't have to tell the world how hard you're working or how much you've sacrificed. The results will speak for you. The ones who truly win are the ones who can stay consistent in silence and believe in themselves when the world doesn't. They don't need the crowd applause to keep moving, because their validation comes from within. They understand that success built on self-belief cannot be taken away because it's rooted in who they are, not what others think of them. Consistency and self-belief also shape your energy. They give you direction and focus. When you know what you're working toward and trust your ability to get there, distractions lose their hold on you. You stop wasting energy on things that don't serve your growth. You develop tunnel vision, not blind to the world, but deeply aware of what matters most. You start each day with clarity, knowing that every action, no matter how small, is a step closer to the person you want to become. The beauty of self-belief is that it doesn't depend on circumstances. It's not tied to your current situation or achievements. It's a mindset that says, no matter where I am today, I have the power to improve. It's the courage to start again after failure, the patience to continue after slow progress, and the strength to stand alone when necessary. Consistency turns that belief into action day after day until your reality starts to align with your vision. The people who go far in life aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who never stop getting back up. They know that growth takes time and that every setback is part of the process. They trust that as long as they keep showing up, keep believing, keep improving, their moment will come. They understand that real power is not about domination. It's about direction. It's not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. When you build consistency and self-belief together, you become unshakable. You no longer rely on motivation because discipline carries you. You no longer fear failure because you trust yourself to rise again. You no longer wait for perfect conditions because you know the strength lies in beginning anyway. You stop doubting your ability and start trusting your effort, and as you do, something powerful happens. You realize that true success is not found in the noise of the world, but in the quiet persistence of your own belief and consistency.